Welcome back to Hannity. Radical Euro leftists clashed with police in Hamburg, Germany, as demonstrations turned violent yesterday ahead of the G20 summit. Meanwhile, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is defending his decision to join those protests in Germany after coming under fire. Joining me now with a reaction is American Conservative Union Chairman Matt Schlapp and co-host of The Five, Juan Williams. Juan, we said, where's Juan? Why is he not here with us? And I said, look, he doesn't want to be on set with us.
Oh, gosh.
In beautiful Big Apple in New York. All right, Juan, I got to start with you because this is a hard one to defend, I think. We had this horrific shooting of a wonderful, beautiful female police officer, single mom of 3 kids, broke my heart, shot in the back of the head, another fatal shooting of a police officer, the community in the Bronx coming together. Bill de Blasio, I believe, skipped out on at least one of the events to honor this police officer, headed over to Europe. What about that decision?
Well, I think he said he's going to the funeral, and so that's what his statement is. To my mind, what's interesting here is that de Blasio went. I was surprised that he would be going to Germany. You know, he missed not only the whole upset in New York over the shooting of the officer, but also the swearing in of some officers here, a new class of recruits. So I was just surprised that the reason he went was to join the protest. I mean, he could be anti-Trump and all. I understand that. That's a major part
Doesn't he have a job?
of his message.
I mean, most of these protesters don't have jobs, Juan.
Well, he's a politician. Let's just, I mean, that's what he is.
Yeah, well, I was just glad they had the water cannons out because by the looks of some of these people, they haven't showered in like months. It's like the first time they've actually...
Don't make the mistake that
give a little soap on them as well.
Don't make the mistake that this isn't a job. For some of these folks.
Some of them it's paid protesters.
Some people are getting some payment for doing this.
All right, so Schlapp, I see this, I'm like, of course de Blasio's going over there.
Yes.
He believes in ID cards and city benefits for people who are there illegally. It's a sanctuary city.
Yeah.
So much of Europe is now a sanctuary continent.
It's really a recruiting trip. He wants everyone to come back to New York City.
You're probably handing out ID cards there. Here, you want food stamps, you want SNAP benefits, we got it all covered.
You know, it's hashtag resistance. It's everything you can do to connect yourself with the radical fringe. And I think politically...
He's a featured speaker.
I think politically it's a huge mistake for these Democrats because in the end, we're a pretty practical country. We want to solve problems.
People don't like this.
People want to give the president a chance. And on a foreign stage, to be there protesting against your president, if nothing else, at the least, it's awfully tacky.
Imagine, Juan, if, like, Rudy Giuliani, when he was mayor, he decided to go off and, you know, maybe one of the IMF protests, because back then they had the IMF protests. These protests go on. They went on in Toronto when Obama was president. And nothing new. It's been going on for years and years. But let's say, Rudy decides to go over there, not that he would, and he just starts to, speak at some event critical of, some liberal... I mean, he would just be trashed by the liberals saying, oh, how could you go over there and criticize our lovely president?
Laura, you can't trick me. Look, I think Republicans like Giuliani would never be protesting against the big business, the industrialists, the anti-capitalists.
They all voted for Hillary.
Yeah,
all those people voted for Hillary. All those big business people.
I don't think so. I think Goldman Sachs is pretty well represented in the Trump administration.
500 G's in speeches. Didn't they get all that money?
But I do think what's interesting to me is a lot of Trump people, I think, would identify with the anti-globalist, anti-free trade message coming from these protesters in Hamburg.
I think Juan has a good point.
Those stinky hats, those stinky knit caps, and
let's face it, there's a lot of hypocrisy here. If there is any Republican or any president of the United States who's actually anti-globalist, it's Donald Trump.
Yes.
I mean, look at the positions he's taken on trade. And so actually, I think this shows you that
this is
more...
dumb. They don't even understand. They're so dumb they don't even understand.
It's all politics.
You're not going to get closer to the anti-globalization agenda than you are with Trump. Like, who else is going to be president of the United States who's going to call into question these big trade deals? He killed the TPP. Right. TTIP is gone.
That's right.
So what are they... Really, I mean, but they're not just there for Trump. They're there for the free beer. You got the pot being handed out. I mean, they play ganja smell. I mean, it's like a festival. This is as close to a varsity sport as any of these kids will ever have.
Well, the part that I don't like is the violence. I mean, we as Americans, we're all into peaceful protest, assembly, free speech. But the violence...
They did it in Seattle. They did it in Berkeley. This is happening in our country. We're allowing this junk to happen here.
Yep. So we're not so into the peaceful all the time.
No, but even the reporters are wearing those bicycle helmets. Have you seen those bike helmets they're wearing?
I thought it was.
They didn't have to wear those at the Tea Party rallies, Juan, because those things were peaceful. You got the Betsy Ross people. They're not throwing bottles.
It looked a little bit like a Mel Brooks movie to me.
You're going to defend your
protesters,
but you don't like that. But I'm going to say, I think Matt and I and you agree, this anti-globalist sentiment, which is a Trump sentiment, is really what they supposedly represent, and I don't get it. They must have missed the message.
They represent free. They want everything free. Free, free, free. There's no end to the free money. All right, everybody, happy